final point is back to the point I made. I don't believe that the one end result of that we should be going ahead with a $100,000 encumbrance simply because we don't have a legally binding obligation. And I think we're just, if we start doing that, particularly with large sums of money or whatever, I just don't think it's the proper way to do it, and I don't think it's consistent with the statutes.
Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for the recognition. Admiral Schwotzer, good to see you. Isn't this fun?
That's what I live for.
There you go. Thanks for the great work you do. And I'm just taking it a little bit of a different tack. I'd like to talk about the revenues.
Sure.
And this isn't anything you're even going to really have to look at. I'm just going to kind of freely talk. And when you look at the revenues from the state of New Hampshire, they're down 3%. Okay, so we're getting less money. But when you go to what we do for business in town here, our revenues, some revenues by different lines are up 2,400%, 250%, 109%. Someone tell me to stop, 1,119. I mean, I can go on and on. There's a lot of economic activity in Hampton, and it's an improving. It's a vibrant economic, small business, commercial, mercantile town. And the town is in business. Then you contrast that with the state side and what we're getting from the state. So we've got items that are up 1,000%, 2,400%. We're up hundreds, almost $200,000 in the Delta. But the state, we're down 3%, and it's the big mystery. But it's not really a mystery. Is we're just not getting our fair share. And in my past comments, and Selectman Moore rightly said, what are you going to do? So we're going to meet this week, and you know we're meeting. We're going to go over a little game plan. It's going to be really simple. We're going to really drill down on incident reporting, which is going to develop the revenue in line with these lines here. And we're going to get metrics from department heads, and we're really going to go forward with this, and it's going to be your duty, our responsibility. We're going to establish costs for operations, personnel. We're going to go with our capital items. We're going to depreciate that. We've looked at the audit from last year. They're not adverse opinions, but there's some things we're not going to do that we are going to do. I spoke to Mr. Colby, our CPA, on the phone last week about it. We're going to look at retirement costs that we're not making incidents about, or we're not making recognition for. We're not depreciating some of these capital items, and they have an effect on our performance here. And if you just took the numbers from the increase in productivity, which is what it really is, because people in Hampton are paying these increased revenues to the town, if you just applied those same revenues to what the state has given us, you're looking at $600,000 to $700,000 in increased revenue. And when we look at the rooms and meals tax here, we can see that for $660,000, you can get a restaurant in probably our smallest seasonal pizza shop in town, and those two ventures are paying all of that. So we're going to work with this, and I look forward to working with you and communicating openly and help alleviate some of these penny pinching items, and they're rightfully so penny pinch. But when you actually do look at this document, there's red ink on the state side, and there's serious growth and serious economic activity in the town of Hampton, and I look forward to seeing you for about 5 minutes on Wednesday. I've telegraphed what I'm going to do, and you run with it, and thank you for your time. Thanks.
Okay. Other comments? Mr. Moore?
Yeah, just to follow up to what Mr. Bean just said, is it appropriate for any of us to be talking to the auditors without the board knowing? I'm not clear on that, especially if it regards
I sent an email, if you must know, to the town manager, and Admiral Schwotzer, Mr. Schwotzer, sent me the information, and I talked to him. If that's inappropriate, then I'm condemned.
Well, no, I'm not trying to condemn you, Phil. I just that some of the stuff that you speak about is talking about the implementation of an accounting standard, which I would love for us to implement, but we've always said that we're not going to. So the depreciation in particular. So
specific GASB, yes.
Well,
okay.
and you know, and just to go on it, it's here's my notes from Mr. Colby, and it's not in line with GASB, and those are government accountings. And those are words from his mouth. So if we don't want to follow that, I'm not on board with that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I would love to follow it, except we got to spend more money to set it up properly. I'd love to go to GASB 34.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I would like to make a motion, and my motion is that we remove the $100,000 for the sewer work under Winnicott Road for the contract that does not exist.
I'll second that.
We have a first and a second discussion.